Undisputed may not go on much longer, and Skip and Shannon might split up. Hey guys, my name is Manuel Camia, and before jumping into this video, I just want to ask you guys to give me the HBO special. That is the Help a Brother Out, and you can do that by hitting the subscribe button and leaving a like underneath this video. I don't like doing long intros, so let's jump back into this video. Guys, with everything that's happened in the recent few days, I think it's safe to say that Undisputed with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe might be coming to an end in a near future. And this stems from the rift between the two co-hosts, Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. On Monday Night Football, during the Bills and the Bengals game, a player by the name of Damar Hamlin had a serious injury, and that injury was a heart attack. He just collapsed, and it was very serious because he had to be resuscitated on the field, and this was very shocking, and this was very sensitive, and it was emotional. Everyone was in shock, and they didn't know what was going to happen to him. He had to be carried by an ambulance to the hospital and was in critical condition ever since. Now, it was a very sensitive moment for everyone watching at the stadium and back at home on TV. But there was one person that didn't think it was so sensitive and it could wait, and that was the infamous Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless felt that since he got resuscitated and he was on his merry way to the hospital, the game should wait 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and it should resume because it was just that special of a game. Well, Skip Bayless is free to think that, but the thing that he did that was wrong was he tweeted out his thoughts. He said exactly what I just said out to the world in order to see who he is as a person. He was more concerned about, the NFL, the game, his entertainment than the health and well-being of a human being. Because what would have happened if they resumed the game and a word came out that Damar Hamlin had passed away? They'd look really terrible. We would start asking Skip, why would you even tweet that, right? And he tweeted this tweet, and it made headways, right? The tweet has more than 100 million views, and rightfully so. Many came at Skip Bayless and many called him out for his insensitivity and his tone deafness, because like I said, what would have happened if Damar Hamlin had died on his way to the hospital or at the hospital 10 minutes after the game had started? Skip looked really bad, and he knew it. And so the next day, on Tuesday morning, Skip Bayless came on Undisputed and he apologized for his insensitivity, but he didn't take the tweet down. And I can understand why he didn't take the tweet down. He stood by what he said. Taking the tweet down would have made him look even worse and would have made him look like he just cares about saving his tail. Instead, he took the route of saying, listen, I said what I said, it was wrong, I apologize, but it's up there for everyone to see. And if I were in his position, I probably would have left the tweet up there too. But noticeably, on Tuesday morning, Shannon Sharpe wasn't there with him for the show. And many speculated that Shannon Sharpe had his grandson be born at the time. I think it was a few days earlier or something like that. And that's why he couldn't be there at the show with Skip Bayless. Others speculated that Shannon Sharpe was just fed up with Skip Bayless and his disrespect and how Skip Bayless is always like this, or sometimes he's tone deaf. Regardless, we don't know the full details of why Shannon Sharpe wasn't there. Now, the following day, on Wednesday morning, Shannon Sharpe returned to the show and he had an opening monologue, and things got chippy between the two co-hosts.
Skip tweeted something, and although I disagree with the tweet, and hopefully Skip would take it down.
I'm not going to take it down because I stand by what I tweeted.
Skip, let me finish.
All right, okay.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Go ahead, let's go, Jen.
Okay.
I mean, I cannot even get through a monologue without you interrupting me.
I was under the impression you weren't going to bring this up because nobody here had a problem with that tweet.
No. Clearly, the bosses wanted you to offer explanations, so clearly somebody.
No, they did not have. Nobody.
Let's go, Jen.
Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe have been going at each other for the better part of 7 years. It's what they're paid to do. They're paid to give us great TV in the form of arguing and bickering at each other. It's what they're paid to do. It's what they're good at. This altercation was a little bit different. It was an underlying tone in which us, the viewers, could feel a rift, could feel tension. You could view and ask yourself, is there more than meets the eye here? Is there anything going on behind the scenes that we don't know? Because as you saw in that clip, Skip Bayless looked like he was blindsided. He looked like, wait a minute, I didn't know we were talking about my incident. And Shannon Sharpe said, well, yeah, the bosses wanted you to say this. And he said, the bosses didn't tell me anything. And as a viewer, I'm thinking, what's going on? Why are these two guys going at each other on air, right? If this is personal, Normally you would deal with it behind closed doors. That segment felt personal, it felt different. It felt like one co-host digging and taking a shot at the other co-host. And the audience could just see the tension and the awkwardness, and it was all over Twitter, it was all over social media, because these two duo are iconic. And this isn't the first time that these two guys have been going at each other personally. It seems like recently the brotherly love between Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe has been slowly fading away. And my theory is it's probably because of the fact that these two guys, again, argue with each other every day, 5 days a week for 7 years. When you do that with someone, the dynamic between you is going to change. You're going to feel slighted by them one day. Maybe you may not like what they said in their argument. Maybe you may not like that when you go back to watch that segment. They kind of really washed you in that debate. Maybe you may not like that a player substantiated the other's debate and you look bad. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of intricacies and a lot of dynamic that we may not be privy to just watching them through a screen. And this, when it goes on for 7 years, it changes you. Right? Imagine if you were in a relationship, whether that be your brother, whether that be your girlfriend, or anyone, and every day, 5 days out of the week, you argued with them. Right? And it wasn't just like an argument, it was passionate debate and argument. This would change you. And if you are a regular viewer of the show, you understand a dynamic between these two men. Right? Both of these guys have had, keyword had, tremendous respect for the other and what they've accomplished in their respective careers. Shannon Sharpe is a 3-time Super Bowl winner and is a Hall of Fame inductee. And he has been in sports broadcasting for over 10 years now. He has knowledge about the sports world and he has knowledge within the broadcasting world, right? And on the other end, Skip Bayless is infamous for being Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless credited with being one of the pioneers that pioneered the modern day sports talk show that we have today. He is the other side of the coin that made ESPN First Take what it is today, with Stephen A. Smith, of course. And he has been a respected sports writer for his whole career. He started out locally growing up. He's written for the LA Times. He has written for the Chicago Tribune. He has covered Michael Jordan. He's covered some of the biggest names in sports. He has cachet under his belt, right? So these two guys are very respectable in what they've done. For a long time, we've known their stances on many things, right? When you watch the show, you kind of have a glimpse of what each co-host is going to take on a particular stance. For example, Skip Bayless is a notorious LeBron James hater, and he is equally as much of a Tom Brady lover that he is of a LeBron James hater. And Shannon Sharpe, on the other end, is a LeBron James lover, and others may say a LeBron James apologist, but he loves LeBron James and he's sometimes critical of Tom Brady, and he is critical of the Cowboys, and Skip Bayless loves the Cowboys. Now, these 3 topics, LeBron James, Tom Brady, and the Dallas Cowboys, has really been the bread and butter of Undisputed. It's what they talk about 70 to 80% of the time, right? So you already know kind of the gist of what each of them is going to take on a particular stance when it comes to these topics. This dynamic caused them to have a personal rift happen not even 2 weeks ago. On December 22nd, they were having a segment over Tom Brady, one of the countless times they've done it, and they disagreed. And again, that segment they had felt very, very personal. Take a look at this.
This is just straight hate by a guy who's jealous that he is still playing at a high level at 45 when you had to stop at 35.
Yeah, that's what you do. I did what I did. You make it seem like I was a bum. I'm in the effing Hall of Fame.
Okay,
I got 3 Super Bowls.
So what?
So what?
He's way better than you were.
I'm better than you.
Better.
What does that got to see what you do? You take personal shots.
No, I don't take personal shots. You started it.
Time out. You're willing to take a personal shot at me to say this man is better than me because I say he's playing bad this year?
So when you watch that clip, when you add these 2 incidents of personal digs and personal rift happening on air together in less than 2 weeks, you can start to see the writing on the wall, that there's something going on between these 2 guys. There might be an underlying respect that broke, that they don't have for one another anymore. Because you can tell, because if they still had a lot of respect for each other, they would have said it behind closed doors off camera. I didn't like how you took a personal dig at me in order to up Tom Brady. And dude, I didn't like how you said this about me, right? But they didn't do that. It's on air. It's on air for the whole world to see. And you can see the tension. You can see the facial expressions. Like, man, I can't believe this guy would say that. And the writing's on the wall that Undisputed probably won't be on the air for a long time because the two co-hosts just may not be getting along as well as we may think. And Marcellus Wiley, another sports talk show personality, had his 2 cents on the situation. Now, mind you, this guy's been in the industry, right? He's probably run into Shannon Sharpe and talked to Skip Bayless and knows them kind of, you know, on a personal basis a little bit.
Skip and Shannon breaking up on live TV every single day. When your partner can't get through his monologue, it's all bad. Reminds me of a Wileyism that in any relationship that ends, you spend half the time breaking up. And what we're witnessing right now on live TV is them breaking up. You can tell they don't even speak outside the building, outside the show. Want to know how I know? We all saw it. Felt like an ambush to Skip. Well, we weren't supposed to talk about that. I didn't see that in the notes. We didn't discuss this. You don't know what the boss said. Man, stop playing with me. Yeah, this is not about a tweet. This is not about Brady being better than Shannon. It ain't about none of that. None of them arguments. You know what this is? This is primal. Yep. This is two alphas fighting for territory. This is about power. Because that dynamic of power on that show has shifted, whether it's real or imagined. And right now, we're all seeing that battle for it. Let's see who comes out undisputed.
So, like he said there's a rift. There's definitely something going on between these two guys. And it's very sad to see because I personally enjoy watching these two guys. And those are just my thoughts on these two iconic duos, right? So I think Undisputed is coming to an end. It may not be next month, 6 months down from now, maybe a year. Something happens. Granted, they're still under contract. I don't know how much longer they're under contract for, but yeah, man, unless they can hash this out behind closed doors, it's not looking good. But yeah, guys, those are just my thoughts. If you like this kind of content, make sure to hit the subscribe button and leave a like. And until next time, kids.